Seekers come together, searching for the way, guided by the Spirit, shining every day. Voices call from Zion, beckoning the pure, gathering the faithful where the truth is sure. Follow the Spirit, follow the light, follow the truth. Don't lose your way, don't lose your way. Follow the Spirit, follow the light, follow the light, follow the truth. It shines today.
Welcome into another Key David podcast here on Zion Media. We are joined again by David the Lion Douglas and Trevor the Key Keys. And I've got one of my good friends here, James Curran. Some of you may know him by James the Mormon. Others of you may know him by JTM. I know him by James. And he and I have been friends since I got out of prison. I needed somebody to do a quick little concert for me. Dude, like a broken leg. I called him. He didn't know who I was. And it was for the business I was working for. I called him. I said, hey, man, I've been listening to your stuff. By the way, I found his stuff when I got out of prison. I'm like, a Mormon rapper? Like, that's cool. Like, let me check this out. I actually saw him on BYU TV while I was in prison. And I thought, man, I want to get to know that guy. So I just had that thought in prison, like, I want to get to know that guy. And as soon as we needed somebody to come and do a little performance, I thought, man, I wonder if I can get a hold of JTM. And he showed up. He's like, I don't know if you want me to come and perform. Like, I got a broken leg. I'll be sitting in a chair. I'm like, dude, just make it work. And he's like, I'll make it work. And he's literally sitting in the chair performing. And just a stud, just a great guy, was willing to do anything. And furthermore, I don't have a ton of people I call. I got a lot of acquaintances. I needed help moving. And James and I, we're not like, we don't hang out and play Call of Duty together or anything, you know, and I don't play golf with him, but we'll go to lunch and we'll talk about business and stuff. And he came and helped me move. Like, this is a good dude. Despite, you know, you see him as this dude that's rapping like most rappers you think of, you're like, oh man, they're gangsters. This guy's a gangster for Christ, for sure. And he's the least gangster guy actually I've ever met. But welcome to the show, James. Excited to have you on. Appreciate you being willing to come on. And today I just want to talk a little bit about your story. I haven't been able to find anything really online that tells us about who James Curran is. You know, obviously we've seen all your videos. And before I get into your story, I want people to know a little bit about you. I don't know if, David, you have the video pulled up that he did with him and David Archuleta called Workin'. I love the song. I listen to the song all the time. And maybe just to kick, so you kind of understand who James is, let's play Workin'. Is that okay with you, James?
Yeah, let's do it.
Hey,
yeah.
pull it.
I have that and the other video we were talking about, so we could show both.
Let's jam out a little bit to this song.
Sorry, I had it on like 2x speed.
2x, yeah.
Default.
I said we out here grinding, we working. I said we out here grinding, we working. I said we out here grinding, we working. I said we out here grinding, we working.
Tell me how to do it and I do. Fueling my ambition like I'm filling up a pool. Ain't my choice, but it's up to me to choose. Hammer out my goals like I'm working with my tools. On the same page like the headline knows. Even Jimmy Fallon couldn't shake me out my roots. Best foot forward like we dancing with a groove. We gon' stay grinding till we all make a move. Are you gonna find her, baby, my way? Are we gonna grind or are we gonna play? We gon' give it time but never go away. Said it either black or white but not gray. Are you gonna find her, baby, my way? Are we gonna grind or are we gonna play? We gon' give it time but never go away. Said it either black or white but not gray.
I said we out here grinding, we working. I said we out here grinding, we working. working. I said we out here grinding, we working. I said we out here grinding, we working.
We could only win, never lose. Cause the only thing we ever share be the truth. We gon' feed the fire till it's burning down the roof. Focus on your heart cause the feels be the proof. Yeah, cause my soul lighting up like a fuse. Always down to share, never that's our food. Shoulder to the wheel like a NASCAR crew. Head in the word, baby, that's our school. Are you gonna find her, baby, my way? Are we gonna grind or are we gonna play? We gon' give it time but never gon' wait. Said it either black or white but not gray. Are you gonna find her, baby, my way? Are we gonna grind or are we gonna play? We gon' give it time but never gon' wait. Said it either black or white but not gray.
I said we out here grinding, we working. 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 I said we out here grinding, we working, grinding, we working. I said we out here grinding, we working. I said we out here grinding, we working.
David, your closed captions.
Yeah, David listens in multiple. David listens in like different languages and stuff to try to get educated. So, dude, I love Archuleta. I hope one day we get him on because, dude, he's still to me the GOAT LDS musician by far.
Yeah, regardless of what anybody says, I love David Archuleta too. He sings this song "Glorious." I used to listen to the radio, Light FM 100 in prison all day on Sunday to hear that song. They would play it like 2 or 3 times, and I would just all day wait for I would keep it in my headphones in. I had this little like MP3 player just to hear that song "Glorious" from David Archuleta. Like, don't let whatever he's doing now, like he's on his own path. It's okay. We need to love him. We need to be Christ-like to him. What do we got here?
I think he's trying to pull up that clip. Dude, absolutely. Dude, David's still our boy, 100%. And for those weak-minded that shunned him, shame on you. Like,
Shame on you. Anyways.
So
Okay.
This was that other video we were talking about, right, James, that you sent over?
mm-hmm.
I want to watch this real quick.
Okay, let's play.
Can you go bigger screen?
Oh, this for anybody feeling like they don't know where to go. Like you stuck in repetition and you left out in the cold. Baby, I know that you worthy, that's the worth of every soul. You the go, that's the go, let it show. Oh, this for anybody feeling like they don't know where to go. Like you stuck in repetition and you left out in the cold. Baby, I know that you worthy, that's the worth of every soul. You the go, that's the go, let it show.
I like it.
That was a good
Okay.
one.
I love that. I love that one. How do people how can somebody go download that? It's on iTunes, right?
Yeah, anywhere there's like you stream music, my music's gonna be there under JTM.
What was the name of that last one? That was your latest drop, right?
Yeah, that's called Let It Show.
Do you remember when you showed that? You showed me the beat to that and you gave me the file and I'm like, bro, this is a banger. This thing is I love your music. I know you sit there, you're very stoic. Dude, it's a good thing that I can't do what you do because my head would explode. I'd be like, yeah, that's me, dog. That's me right there. Look at me go.
Jane, have you noticed that every time we have music on, like me and you are just doing a little head bob, sometimes you get into it. What does David the Lion Douglas do? The blackest of all of us. He sits there like a white dude.
Exactly. Dude, no rhythm whatsoever. I don't know. No. I bet he could do the Carlton. I bet if we asked him to do the Carlton. Do you know the Carlton dance? James, do you know the Carlton dance?
I don't know if I could do it proficiently, but I could recognize it if I see it.
Can I give it a try?
Yeah, let's see it.
Carlton, I start right here. I keep it real tight like this. Then I get here. Then I get here. Then I get here. Then I get here. I mean, that's what I got. That's as good as I'm.
Not unusual.
David,
David,
everybody in the live stream is asking for you to do it.
Yeah. This is a live stream.
Let's see, Dave. Dave, just give us a little.
There's no space. This is a little tiny box.
I see. Hey,
I don't
next
do
time,
the choral son. That's for sure.
ask him to do it. Let's see if he can do it. Okay,
I danced to Michael Jackson. That's what I danced to.
enough fun. But now you get an idea of who James or JTM, James the Mormon, James Curran is in that world. But you're also an entrepreneur, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm definitely in this. Yes, I am.
So before we get into all that, I want to go way, way back. I want to know who James is. You've traveled the world. You've lived all over the world. You speak multiple languages. There's a lot of things that people don't know about you. So I'm going to ask whoever's driving to go big on you and tell us a little bit about your story, who you are, where you grew up, how the church has played into your life. Did you serve a mission? Let's cover all those bases.
The origin story.
The origin story of James the Mormon. So I grew up in the following countries. I grew up in Russia. I went China, Taiwan, Uzbekistan is where I graduated high school. So I grew up in a situation where while we were overseas, the church was always this like it isn't what it is in Utah, right? It like in China, I have very distinct memories of like we would go to when we first got to Beijing, we would go to someone's like condo, and there were probably like 30 members, and like we had a sacrament meeting in a living room, and then the kids would go to like a bedroom for primary. We were all together. Eventually, the range got big enough that we would like meet in an office space, and we had like sacrament meeting in like a conference room. In Russia, we had church was in like an abandoned Soviet theater, and I remember like passing sacrament. That's where I got the priesthood, was in Moscow, and I would pass the sacrament throughout this theater. And then Uzbekistan, where I graduated high school, when we first got to Tashkent, capital city of Uzbekistan, there was just my mother, me, and my brother were the only members in the whole country. So sacrament meeting or like church was essentially like I would come down. I was the only person who could bless the sacrament in the whole country, and I would, bless the sacrament, give bread and water to my brother, take one, and then someone would give like a spiritual thought, and that was church. I came up. This is kind of like the world I lived in. Obviously, like I was an American, and we would like visit the United States, or in between our stints overseas, we would have a year there. So I had some. I was familiar with like a larger ward as well. But majority of my my upbringing up until I was 18 was in these like situations where the church was truly in like a pioneer state.
Why were you in all those countries?
My mother was a U.S. diplomat. So she would travel to a new American embassy about every 3-4 years. You get a new assignment. In between, like I said, we would come back to the DC area for like a year, and then we would go back overseas. But yeah, my mother was a convert. My father was a convert. They both served missions, and then they had a divorce, and my mother, took us with her around the world, and that was my upbringing.
Wow. Okay, so at 18, do you end up going on a mission?
Well, I'm old enough where it was 19 that you had to go on a mission, but I actually didn't go on a mission at 19. I was it's interesting because like I don't think I ever felt animosity towards the church, but I definitely was apathetic to like commandments, right? Even at 18, I was going to BYU. I was 18. 19, 20, 21, 22. Like I kind of didn't care. I think I probably still identified as a Mormon, but I wasn't like pursuing Christ in any way. I was simply just like, just I wanted to do what made me happy, what felt good, and those things are contradictory to God's commandments. And I didn't go on a mission until I was 23.
What made you decide to go on a mission?
Several different things. Like the first thing was that my girlfriend's father at the time was very anti me marrying his daughter because I wasn't a returned missionary. So that probably got me thinking. I had a couple friends who were older than me, 5 to 8 years older than me, that like were very influential in helping me kind of see the value in living your life in pursuing Christ and helping me gain like what I refer to like a little baby testimony. But I had an experience when I was living in St. George. I was kicked out of BYU for the second time. And
What'd you get kicked out of BYU for? Can you say on the program?
Well, the second time,
Like honor code stuff?
Yeah, I mean, every time I got kicked out, it was honor code stuff. Sure.
Okay.
For that plastic beard guard.
Every time I got kicked out.
It always had to do with girls, but essentially, the second time I got kicked out, I was like on probation for curfew, and then I just got like knee surgery, and I had a friend who was a girl who came over to like take care of me, and we were literally just like in my bedroom platonically watching Friends, and an RA walked in, and we were breaking honor code, and I got kicked out. So,
were you rapping at this time?
Was I rapping?
Yeah.
I mean, it's always been kind of a small hobby, like it's never really been like, I've never pursued it as a career. Even this video we watched with David Archuleta, I was never, like, this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. It's just like, I enjoy making it. And there's been ebbs and flows of how relevant it is. But yes, I've been creatively making music since I was like 17 years old. So yeah, at that time I was making stuff as a hobby, as I do now. Anyway, so I was living in St. George. I was kicked out of school for watching Friends with a girl in my bedroom platonically. And I was, there was a night, it was Christmas Eve, and I was at a party, and I got drunk and I got high, and I decided that I was going to go drive home. And I was driving home, and I thought I was good, but a cop pulled me over, and I kind of got pulled over. I was like, my life is over. My life, like, I was like, I'm this, like, I started thinking through every possible scenario. I'm going to jail tonight. I'm going to lose my license. I'm not going to be able to drive to work. Like, I'm just like thinking about how I'm going to live, all the things. And I saw where my life was headed. And the cop came to my window. He knocked on the window, and I rolled it down. Like, he asked for my license registration, and he told me that he smelled alcohol. And then I lied, and I said, no, that was just at a party. That's not what you smell. Or I haven't been drinking. Like, you just smell it because I've been around it. And then he takes my license and registration, comes back to the car, and he hands it back to me, and he says, I have no idea why I'm doing this, but drive home right now. Merry Christmas. And
wow,
I got home and I thought about, like, because I'd been pulled over several times. Like,
man, that's like an angel of an officer.
Yeah, I've been pulled over for speeding and all sorts of things. I've never gotten any leeway, right? In this moment, I was actually inebriated, and
talk about mercy.
Yeah, so I thought about all those times, and I just couldn't explain why I'd gotten home safe and why I'd I didn't go to jail that night. And I kind of saw where my life would have gone, and I could only accredit it to God. And I decided that day, I was like, okay, like I'm going to change my life. And I didn't know how else to like say thank you. You know, I didn't really have I had a baby testimony of God, but I didn't have a testimony of the restoration or anything like that. And the only way I could say thank you to God was like, okay, I guess I'm going to serve a mission. That's what I should do. And I made a decision that I was 22, and I made a decision and to change my life and serve a mission. And a year later, I walked into the MTC.
Wow. So what was that process like for you when you, like, obviously you're like, okay, I'm going to go on a mission. A year later you go. What was that year like leading up to your mission?
It was, yeah, it was like bearing my swords, you know, bearing the things that like I thought I wanted and needed, and kind of really changing who I was, repenting and coming a little closer to Christ, you know, just through repentance. Honestly, I didn't really understand the doctrine of the church until I got to the MTC. Like the first vision, I didn't even I've been a member for 23 years at this point. And I was like, wait, what? Like a man saw God in Jesus Christ and restored the Christ's original church. That's nuts. We got to tell everyone, you know, like,
Right.
I didn't know, I don't know why I didn't know any of these things. I didn't know what the plan of salvation was. You know, I didn't know anything. I just felt connected to God, and I felt like I couldn't explain it, but I felt the joy of repenting without being able to connect it directly to Christ, because I just chose to stop doing things I was told my whole life were wrong. And I felt the joy of what that brought me. But it all connected when I went to the MTC, and I learned, oh, this is what the atonement is. This is what the restoration is. This is what the plan of salvation is. And it all connected for me in the MTC. And yeah.
Where did you get called?
I originally was called to the Rostov-na-Donu mission. And later,
Do you speak Russian because you lived out there?
yeah, I'd already spoken some Russian, and then I already spoke some Russian. I couldn't pray or teach a lesson or, you know, knew any of that like religious vernacular, but yeah, that's why I'm probably called Russian speaking. But I finished my mission in Washington, Russian speaking.
But tell me, okay, so you go to the MTC, you have kind of like baptism of fire type moment. You go to Russia. Talk to me about your mission. What was that like for you?
Yeah, when I was in Russia, it's interesting, kind of the journey of my mission, because like in Russia, the culture of the mission at that time when I was there was that nobody gets baptized. Like at that time in 2009, I think it was, the Rostov-na-Donu mission was the least baptizing mission in the world. You know, like it was just like no one. We had like such a small amount of missionaries. And I remember the culture of the mission was that like, yeah, no one's gonna get baptized. Like we're just knocking to knock, and we're, you know, like that's kind of how I was. Like I was only there for 2 transfers, but that was like my mindset. And I was like, oh, okay, like. And then when I went to Washington, because I was English and Russian speaking, I kind of went in with that mindset. And then like there were general authorities that would come and like teach the mission. And I remember one time he was like, you need to invite everyone to get baptized. And then I started doing that, and then somebody committed to be baptized, and I was like, it was a whole family. It was like, and then it kind of lit a fire under me because I could see that it happened. And I genuinely to this day don't think I've worked that hard in my whole life at anything than my mission. And I just gave it my all.
So how do you end up in Washington? What happens that drives you to Washington, and now you're speaking Russian in Washington?
So when I was in Russia, I mean, there's a whole story to this, but essentially before the experience in St. George, where I made the decision to go on a mission, before that it was probably like a year and a half where I actually attempted to go on a mission. At this time, I was like 21, and my all my friends were coming back from missions, and they were like selling me on how amazing it is and how much they changed. And I started thinking like, maybe I should do that. And I actually went through the repentance process, and I like put my papers in, and I went through the bishop, and then I went to my stake president, and the stake president asked me about my past, and I was honest with him, and at that time, like, it was like a very brief stint in church history where I feel like they raised the bar. I don't know if you remember Jeffrey R.
Yeah, they didn't raise the bar until after I had come and gone, right? Same for you, right, Trev? They didn't raise the bar until after we had already.
Yeah, when I graduated high school is when he gave that talk, and then like they raised
probably like 2004, 2005, somewhere in that time frame.
Yeah, I feel like from 2004 to 2009 ish, 10. There was like this like raising the bar culture, and I like awareness at that time. Yeah, and where you couldn't make mistakes. They were basically like, if you make a mistake, you're canceling your opportunity to do stuff. You know what I mean? And I went through I literally waited a year. I did everything, and then I go to the stake president, and he's like, "Oh, you can't do it because of your past mistakes. You can't." Even though I had fully repented and done everything. So that was a very, go ahead.
Was this when they introduced Preach My Gospel?
I don't know when Preach My Gospel came out, but I think this was probably 2000.
Did you use the discussions on your mission?
No, I used Preach My Gospel, but
okay.
I was a missionary in 2010 and 2012.
Gotcha.
2000. So like the time that I was trying to go, I don't know what they were teaching and using, but long story short was that I had this discouraging experience being honest and forthright with and I was genuinely worthy to serve a mission. Like I repented. And
it's kind of like Alma the Younger served a mission. And it was a 3-day repentance process for him. And so it becomes interesting to me that we set these time limits and this kind of stuff when our own scriptures, I can point to Alma the Younger and the sons of Mosiah, and they were good to go 3 days later, and they were the best missionaries that I'm aware of. Just putting that out there.
Yeah, I didn't understand it. So and it actually didn't agree, if I'm being honest with you. And because of that, not that it's right, but I feel like I was just a kid, and I said, okay, well, if I can't, I went back to my old habits. Then I get back, obviously flash forward. I'm in St. George, cop pulls me over, all the things. So I make the decision, I'm going to go serve a mission, but I'm going to do it my way. And I'm not going to tell them what I've been up to, because I feel like I just like, it's not going to work. I'm not going to be able to do this. And I feel like God's telling me to go. So I'm going to go. So anyway, long story short, I go into Russia. I go to the MTC for 2 months, learn Russian, or 3 months actually, learn Russian. I'm in Russia for 2 transfers. And then I get to this point where I feel I'm so sure that this is God's church, and I'm so sure of that I am not clean. And I go to my mission president and I tell him some of the mistakes I'd made during that year before I went to the mission that I didn't disclose to my stake president, and I get sent home. And I come home for 7 months, and I get reassigned to Washington, Russian speaking.
So you were still, even though you went through all this repentance and all these hoops and all these different leaders kind of telling you, you are worthy, you aren't worthy, you still had this like desire to get out there and serve. So talk to me about when you finally got to Washington. What was that like?
Yeah, when I got there, I was on fire. Like I was like I had gone through like the atonement, like, and I felt so grateful that because I actually in my mind I was like, my life is over. Like I'm getting excommunicated. I shouldn't have done it. Like I don't know. I came home and I went out there and I felt so blessed and grateful. And I just like I don't know. I worked so hard to like fulfill my calling as a missionary in Washington. Like I really did, and I saw so many miracles, and it was amazing. And honestly, that's the story of James the Mormon. Is when I got out there thinking, I have finally caught up to what every member of the church probably feels like. What all these people like have already experienced, I finally feel it. Like, and then I got out there and I was like, they're all going to help the work, right? The members are going to help me. And then their members were like ashamed to introduce missionaries to their, or shy to introduce missionaries to their friends and their neighbors and all those things. And it wasn't as easy. And I, at that time, Seattle, where I was serving, was like one of the places the I'm a Mormon campaign came out. And I made a decision. I was like, I'm never going to be these members. I'm not going to like not help the missionaries. And when I got home, I kept that promise. And then I just changed my social media to James the Mormon. Not as anything, not to be a rapper or anything. I just wanted it to be very clear.
You just wanted people to know that this is who you are. This is how I identify, how I roll, and almost to remind yourself who you are.
Yeah, and I also did it as a little insurance policy. Is like, I'm James the Mormon. I can't slip back up into my old ways if I'm telling everyone James the Mormon. So,
Burn your bridges.
Yeah, I burned the boats, man. I was like, let's do it. Anyway, but I had a hobby. Like I said, I like making music. Where did I put that? I put it on my social media. People start calling me James the Mormon. We're associating music, and I ran with it.
Gotcha. So talk me through that time period, because I remember, when did you start, like when did you come out with your first big song where it's like people start, like you went to a BYU game and people are like, can I get a picture with you?
I mean, I feel like there was a progression because but it took off because it's niche. Like, it's like, like nobody had ever done it. And to be honest with you, I don't think anyone has even done it since. So like, it was like a guy who was saying he was Mormon. And I started off making songs about, my first idea was, I'm going to make an album that goes through all the lessons of Preach My Gospel. And there's an album, it's called PMG, and it goes through all the lessons of Preach My Gospel without ever mentioning God or Christ or Joseph Smith. I do it in a very like subtle way because I wanted people to be able to enjoy the music, but feel the spirit of the truth. So yeah, like the first song I ever released as James the Mormon was called Restoration. And I made a music video for it, and that went viral. And then I started releasing the other songs, and I think it got traction. And then, yeah, like by the time we released Motivation,
I love Motivation. Well, tell us a little bit about, like, what was the motivation for Motivation?
I mean, the honestly, like the idea behind Motivation and then the music video was to highlight, like, I think at this time it was really important to me to highlight like a different branding of what Mormon meant, right? And back then we were still calling ourselves Mormon, and proudly. And I think like I wanted to redefine what the world could see as Mormon in a positive way, like where like people could look at this music video and be like, first off, like, I only see 2 white people in this video. Like, you know what I mean? That's number one. And some of them are tatted, and some of them are, like, it's just like nothing what I associate with Mormons is going on, but the music and everything that you're seeing is still wholesome. So I wanted to provide that wholesome, like,
almost like
So-
bridging a gap.
Yeah, I wanted to.
What we understand kind of rap music to be, like my dad was always like, I can't believe you like this rap music. And there's a difference between positive rap music and negative rap music. So to me, what you've done is you've like bridged this cool gap between rap music and positivity. David, pull up the music video. And make sure your closed captions are on. Let's see if we can get it to actually work this time, because the words to this song, again, this is on my playlist. I have this song memorized. James, I like your music. I just think that nobody's really comprehended what you did and what you've done. And like, I might be the only Mormon guy that like truly appreciates what you've done. I'm sure there are other people. But I'm just like, I'm shocked that you're not like super famous, popular Kanye West of the Mormon community. Like, serious, like you're a lyrical genius when I read the lyrics. So let's play it and let's just talk a little bit about what this message is that you're bringing to the table.
It's motivation. Baby, tell me what you're thinking, I'ma give it motivation. Yeah, it's motivation. I've been motivated for a minute now. If you want it, go get it, don't let them bring you down. They said you're sleeping, but we don't listen to word of mouth. Take care of business and family, that's what we dream about. This is what I'm talking about, grinding till the lights go out. All I do is work until I reach the finish line. Motivation pushing me through hard times. Do it for the fam, bottom line, all you need is motivation. Baby, tell me what you're thinking, I'ma give it motivation. Yeah, it's motivation.
Yo, it's Junior Miley on the track now. Steady on me grind with me family on me back now. Kinda lost my way when my brother passed away. Now we back up in the game with a lick more to say now. Motivation family, y'all can't even handle me. I ain't really tripping if these haters ain't a fan of me. Got too much music in my soul for that. Pressure in my chest to beat to hit me like a heart
It's motivation. Baby, tell me what you're thinking, I'ma give it motivation. Yeah, it's motivation. I ain't got no friends.
Look at Kalani Sitake getting down.
Trying to buy my great-grandkid a house, so I can say I got him even when I'm out. That's the only thing that matters to me now. I pay no mind to the heathen, cause they only talking shop. Put a drive on the reason, ain't no stopping till I said so. Gotta turn these tracks into best motivation. Baby, tell me what you're thinking, I'ma give it motivation. Yeah, it's motivation. Know I bring the fire like a source. Anytime I listen to you, I be thinking garbage. Everybody with me from the Bay to way to Harlem. I know that you're starving like my Damon the Martian. And I don't need appreciation. I'ma take the game then, I'ma rearrange it. Anybody hating, I don't feel you like a payment. Baby, tell me what you thinking, I'ma give it motivation. Baby, tell me what you're thinking, I'ma give it motivation. It's motivation.
Dude, so sick. So what I think people don't understand is they think you're talking about something else. Like when I see the work, I'm thinking of missionary work. I'm thinking of the gospel of Jesus Christ. I'm thinking about the work that we're doing, this great and marvelous work, where everybody else is thinking that you're talking about money and work and having, you know what I mean? And it can be that, but that's not how I see it. Like when I hear your music, because I know your heart and I know the design. Dude, I don't know if you remember this. And I can't even remember. I think we were at my house up in Farmington. Do you remember going to my other house in Farmington, that super humongous house? And we were in that office. and your eyes got teary-eyed and you just told me, I just want to serve the Lord. I just want to share the gospel of Jesus Christ. Do you remember that moment?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, bro, I'll never forget that moment where it was like, you're just like, it's all I want to do. Like, if I could just set aside these businesses and everything that I got going on, and if I could just like share the gospel of Jesus Christ all day, every day, that like, to me, that was the desire of your heart. That's when I saw who you were. And I don't think people understand who you are because you're pretty stoic. You don't smile a lot. I'm always joking around with you. You're like got the driest humor of any human I've ever met. You're actually very funny, but people don't understand you. They don't get you. And I feel like to a small degree, I do get you. And that's why you and I get along pretty well. But I know the desire of your heart. So when I hear your music, when you write it, I know where you're writing from. Does that make sense?
No, yeah. I think, I mean, a lot of my music is to I mean, I wouldn't say every song is directly correlated to Christ, but like I'd say most GTM songs are meant to inspire positivity and positive movement for a person. You know what I mean?
Do you know the song Angels We Have Heard on High that you did? I think you did it with Jay Warren.
Yeah.
Did you do a video for that one or no?
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to have David pull it up. It's Angels We Have Heard on High, JTM. I know we're getting closer to Christmas, but what you did to that song, dude, forever. Like, I listened to it in June. I listened to it. It's on my playlist. I don't care that it's a Christmas song. Like, the remake of that song, tell me, and I want to keep going with your story, but I just love your music, and I want other people to find your music and, like, appreciate it like I appreciate it. David, did you find Angel Heard on High? Okay, check this out. This takes a team to do this. I'm telling you.
Okay. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
He'll answer any questions you don't have.
Angels we have heard on high, sweetly singing o'er the plains and the mountains in reply, echoing their joyous strain. Gloria in excelsis Deo, in excelsis Deo. Gloria in excelsis Deo. I know you thinking about a wish list. Mistletoe with your boo and some kisses. Warming up with a cup of that Swiss Miss. But what's the true meaning of Christmas? A little gold in a page. What about that boy in a manger? Baby, if you falling behind, go ahead, pay that no mind. Spend a little bit of time for your Savior. Yeah, he made the earth and wind. So let's all celebrate when the birth began. And maybe then, baby, we can nurse our kin. Cause when we serving them, we be serving him. Yeah. Shepherds, why this jubilee? Why your joyous strains prolong? What the gladsome tidings be, which inspire your heavenly song? Gloria in excelsis Deo, in excelsis Deo. Gloria in excelsis Deo, in excelsis Deo. And it's the time for the season. Never forget about all the reasons you could break even, but you just reaching. So let's all be together, cohesion.
Yeah, and you could judge maybe insult. Is there any room at the end though? Oh, you never been broke, and you can model those. Or think about your brother in them swaddled clothes. Yeah, he made the earth and wind. So let's all celebrate when the birth began. And maybe damn baby we can nurse our kin. Cause when we serving them, we be serving him. Yeah. Come to Bethlehem and see him whose birth the angels sing. Come adore on bended knee, Christ the Lord, the newborn King. Gloria in excelsis Deo. Gloria in excelsis Deo.
Dude, so cool. So cool. I love that song. And I don't think a lot of people know that song. I obviously know your whole catalog. I don't know, dude. It's just, I know your heart. Okay. So any thoughts or comments on that song? Does that bring back memories 2015 for you?
Yeah, just wild how long it's been.
Yeah.
It's like it's been a journey.
So let's kind of fast forward a little bit here. You're making this music, you're doing the JTM thing, you've got these businesses going, you're still single, you've never been married.
No, that's not true.
You've been married? And I don't know this?
I told you that.
You probably did, and I forgot.
I was married in 2014.
Okay. No kids. I don't.
Oh, I was married in 2013. I was married in.
Okay, so it was before I've only known you as a single guy.
Yeah. I mean, it was a very short marriage, so but yes.
Okay.
Was it one of those BYU weddings?
What does that mean?
You go and get married and then get it annulled?
No.
All right.
But it was a mistake. I don't think I knew who I mean, granted, I was 27, so it was. But I don't think I understood what I needed.
I remember you telling me now. Yeah, I remember you telling me. Like a pretty short.
Yeah, it was for a few months. And we just we got married, but we weren't compatible. And I think when you marry someone you're not compatible with, it's very aware and it's heightens, and we decided to end it. I have not. I was married for 3 months, and but
more like a breakup.
It felt like a break. It honestly felt just like a breakup.
Cool. Okay, so from that time period to let's just go that time period, you're starting businesses, you get involved in a bunch of businesses, you sell a business, right? Can you tell me a little bit about your business background during that time period while you're kind of messing around with this JTM music stuff?
Yeah, so I mean the first business, my roommate post mission had just won the BYU business plan competition, and he was just doing his thing, and he kind of introduced me into the tech world. I feel like tech was really in 2000, 12, 13, 14, it was everything. And we started a business where we were turning the backs of cars into affiliates. Like we would put signs on the backs of cars, and they would be an affiliate for another business, and they could generate revenue advertising on their car. And when the GTM thing took off, I sold my equity in that business, and then I built another business where essentially we wanted to help restaurants sell more food during their downtimes and offer an opportunity to people to get cheap food. So it was like a $5 a month subscription. It was called Grub Pass at the time. Now it's past 360, but essentially like you pay $5 a month, and then it gave you access to really discounted food during restaurants downtime, and that allowed them to be busy and generate revenue when they otherwise wouldn't, and gave you cheap food. And then the final business was Whistle Pitch, and we're actually going to sell this week. But
You're gonna sell it?
yeah, we found a buyer. And
Dude, are you stoked? This is news to me. So like, I didn't know. I obviously know Whistle Pitch. I've used it in my businesses before. Is this a good thing? You're happy? Talk to me, Goose.
Yeah, I'm stoked. I genuinely am.
Are you retaining any ownership, or are you selling it outright?
Yeah, we'll between the original owners, we'll retain 17.5% of it. So, yeah, I'm excited to see what they do with it, and if they take it to the moon, then it's good for me. So, but yeah, I worked on that for the last 5 years, and then, I think I'm taking a strong hiatus from, unless some crazy idea that solves a crazy problem comes to mind. I think I'm taking a strong hiatus from tech. There's a company called Plunge in Provo that I bought the franchise rights for Boise. It's a contrast therapy spa, so you go in and there's like a hot sauna and a cold.
You've also been employed by Zion Media.
Yeah, I'm gonna be consulting Zion Media on the upcoming Zion Con, and helping. I'm excited about that. But yeah, I invented a card game. So,
yeah, let's talk card game, and then I want to get back to the temple. Do you have your card game? Can you show everybody Picante?
Yeah.
And you're in Target, right?
We're not in Target.
But you've been in Target with your game, right?
I have walked into Target holding my game, but you cannot get it. You can't buy it there.
Check out his Instagram. Yeah. He goes into Target. It's really funny. In fact, can we just play it? Can we play it? Your little commercial about you going.
Yeah, David can find it. It is a good one.
David, go to his Instagram. So tell us, while he's pulling that up, tell us about the card game. Tell us what it is.
Yeah, essentially what Picante is it's like, if you're familiar with Uno, it's reminiscent of that, but it's like Uno on crack, steroids. And steroids, and once you play Picante, you'll never be able to go back to Uno, to be honest with you. It's just so fun. There's like extra rules, there's secret hand signs. It's very fun.
Okay, let's roll the video.
James and I've invented the second best card game on earth. It's called Picante. Now, my goal with Picante is to get it in the shelves of Target. So today we're here at Target, and we want to visualize, and we want to meditate, and we want to see the end goal. So let's go. Hi, Mr. Target. This is the best. No, wait. Hi, Mr. Target. This is the second best card game on earth. Mrs. Target. Would you like this cards? I'm going to be in here one day.
Nice. That's my favorite part.
Hello, I'm James, and I've invented the second best card.
I love it, dude. I freaking love it. And that gives you an idea of James's humor. Like I said, very, very, yeah, I think he's funny. I think he's hilarious. Very dry humor, my kind of humor. I either like the extreme of Jim Carrey and Dumb and Dumber or that kind of humor from James Current. So, okay. So where can people buy the game? If somebody's watching this right now and they want to buy the game, how do they buy the game?
Amazon or our website, picantegame.com.
So you can go to Amazon. Can you find it on Amazon, David, and just pull it up so people can see it?
Let's not do that, actually. Let's not do that.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
I wouldn't do that for two reasons. One,
he doesn't want you to buy it. Buy it at, I know what he's doing. But what website do we want to send them to buy it? Because I know what you're doing here. I can read your mind. So let's flash up. Where do you want them to go?
You can go. You can get it on Amazon if you want, but you can, if you want to pull up picantegame.com, you can pull that out.
Picante is spelled different phonetically than it, like what?
Yeah, P-I-K. Why can't I spell it? P-I-K-A-N-T-E.
P-I-K-A-N-T-E, game, GAME.com. Flash that up there. I know why, because you'll make more money doing this. Let's support James. He'll make more money if you just buy it directly from him. You can go to Amazon.
Honestly, it's only 20.
You don't want to search on Amazon. I'm just telling you.
It's only $20. I mean, get a few gifts. If you want to support our boy, get a couple of gifts for Christmas. Games.
This is a great Christmas gift. This is a great Christmas gift.
It's a great Christmas gift. Yeah.
I totally have a habit of buying games. That's like one of my things for Christmas, and I'm telling you, people like it. They use them.
Yeah, especially a new game that nobody's heard of before. Like, yeah, let's support it. I've heard rave reviews. I got the game myself. I just need to. Well, you know what, James? I think what we need to do. Listen, if there's any ladies out there, and you think my friend James is attractive, he's single, ready to mingle, and you want to go on a double date, yep, go big on him. Look at him. A good smile. The girls want to see a good smile. Yep, there we go. Let's do this. Let's do this. On Zion Media's dime, we'll do a double date. I'll grab my wife. If you're in the contact forms, like shoot us. We're going to be the ones that screen for James, and we're going to have, if there's 10 people, we'll have 10 people. We'll let James pick one of the 10, two of the 10.
We could facilitate like a speed date. It's kind of like a reverse Brigham Young. Instead of like adding to 10 people, you start with 10 and you go down to 1.
To 1. Okay. Yeah. There's a lot of things we can do here. We'll have to flesh this out. This is live TV, and so we'll have to flesh this out. But I would love to play the game, Picante, on a double date. And maybe it's not somebody from Zion Media. Maybe you got a little somebody in mind. Maybe, just maybe it's my wife's cousin. Maybe that's what we do. Maybe we take, my wife has a cousin. She's single. James may or may not have dated her in the past. And maybe that's what we do. I don't know.
Why do I have a feeling that our boy has no trouble getting the ladies? And
it's the problem is he gets so many that he can't freaking pick one. That's the problem.
No, the real problem. Go ahead.
But now he's prepared to pick one. That's the truth. And James, I want to talk a little bit about fast forwarding to, 6-7 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
And tell us a little bit about your spiritual journey and kind of your coming back again to the temple and your recommitment.
Yeah, I feel so. The thing about me, since the moment I knew, when I mentioned the MTC earlier, and there was a moment in MTC where this woman came in, still to this day, no idea who she is. But she came and she bore her testimony of the first vision and her testimony of it. And I knew in that moment that had happened. God blessed me with a very, very powerful witness through the Spirit that the first vision happened. And I knew from that moment that this was the restored Church of Jesus Christ. And I've taken that with me, and I've had several spiritual experiences reconfirming that this is the restored Church of Jesus Christ, and I've never been able to deny that. But I have had moments where I'm not as committed to going to the temple, or I'm not as diligent with my practice of commandments. And there were several years where that wasn't a priority for me, even though I knew. And I always thought in my mind, I was like, even though I'm not currently living the way I need to be able to enter the temple, that will change. When I'm married and I have kids and when I have a family, I will get there. Like that was always where I wanted to go. And I pursued dating in that fashion, where I'm like, I will become what I know I need to. I'll get back there. I will. And I kept dating, and the same thing would keep happening. I would keep meeting these girls who I thought were great, and then they would flip on me in the middle of dating, or they would lose interest, or just like these really traumatic breakups over and over and over, where I thought I was getting one thing and then I just wasn't. And I was like, why does this keep? It's kind of, it honestly got to the point where it was like weird. I was like, this is very, very weird. And I thought about it, and I realized, I was like, I keep saying I'm going to become something, and I'm attracting that. I'm attracting someone who isn't ready for what I want and is ready for what I am right now. And I just realized God was, I kind of like talked to God about it. He's like, listen, it's on you. You can keep living the way you want, and the exact same thing is going to keep happening to you over and over and over and over again until you learn your lesson. And the lesson is that I need you. This is God speaking. I need you to completely commit to what you know you're supposed to be doing. And I need you to start living that way. And that's the only way you're going to find your wife. And I just hit home, and I said, okay, I'll do it your way. And then I made a commitment that day to very similar to the moment where I decided to go on a mission. I was like, I can't keep living the way that I'm living. I need to be worthy of this wife now. I need to be worthy of all the blessings that God wants to give me now. I need to change and be that now fully. And I recommitted my life to the gospel of Jesus Christ, and I repented, and then I made the decision to go back to the temple and be consistent in that.
And it's not just being consistent. I mean, he laid it on the altar, and you were prepared for whatever they were going to do. You just put it on the altar, like, hey, whatever you're going to do, right? You went to the bishop and just put it all out there.
Yeah.
And what happened? You got to recommend.
Yeah, like they were like, within a few months I was back at the temple. So,
and you made a commitment to go to the temple pretty much every day, right?
Yeah, currently I am I'm attending the temple pretty almost. I've just been a couple of days where I've missed, but have you gone today? I have not gone today because of this.
I'm dressed and ready to go. I went this morning, so I got to go get a haircut at noon. If you want to go this afternoon, I'm free. You and I went to the temple. What was it, like a couple of weeks ago? We met up at Bountiful.
Yeah.
And then you came over to my house a few days after that, right? Because we were talking Zion Con, trying to get things ironed out to have you be our freaking guy that helps us put this whole thing together, because you know how to put together a show for Mormons. And I should say show for members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. It's just so much easier to say Mormons. So sorry. And please, if we use Mormons, we are referring to members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I wish I could say it faster. But my wife saw you. And my wife, she's seen you multiple times. She didn't even recognize you. She's like, that was James? So I'm telling you, like, your countenance is shining brighter than I've ever seen it since I've known you. And I met you in like 2020 or 2021, something like that. So for all of you out there that are deciding whether or not you want to go to the temple or not, you should go. You should go. I don't care who's offended you. I don't care what the bishop's offended you or member your whatever's offended you. You made commitments in the house of God, which we call the temple, or the house of our God. And you made covenants. Go to the temple. Do some initiatory work. Do some endowments. And you can begin to see your complexion change. Truly, as Alma said, you receive his image in your countenance. Yes, go to church. Yes, partake of the sacrament. But the real sacrifice, go to church on Sunday. That's not the sacrifice. Everybody's off. Nobody's working. You might as well go to church. But when you go to the temple on a Tuesday, on a Wednesday, on a Thursday, like that's a sacrifice, in my opinion. And I think that's the sacrifice that the prophet is saying, hey, make this sacrifice if we'll all make this sacrifice. And listen, it's okay if you don't understand it perfectly. When Adam was offering sacrifice on the altar, the angel came to him and says, why are you offering a sacrifice? David, do you know what does Adam say?
I know not, save the Lord commanded me.
And hasn't the Lord through his prophet commanded us to go to the temple? And it's okay if you don't know exactly why you're going. Show up and you'll figure it out. I promise you that. I guarantee you, James is like, I don't know, James, what's your experience with the temple been since you've made this recommitment? Have you learned anything? Has there been anything? Obviously, you're selling a company now, so maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm a big believer that, the miracles that happen in your life come from faith. And I think that as you sacrifice and you're strong and sure of the things that you're doing, like me going to the people don't need to go to the temple every day. I think that's extreme, to be honest with you. This is just me trying to show God how much I'm looking for a miracle.
What miracle are you looking for, or do you feel comfortable sharing it on here? I mean, you shared it with me. What's the miracle?
Yeah, I mean, the miracle is just finding my wife. I genuinely don't think I can do it without God. So I'm just showing him how much I want to. There's a fewfold. One, I'm showing him how much I want this miracle. Two, I'm trying to be in the celestial room so I can hear if he needs me to be somewhere or do something, just in general, whether it brings me to my wife or not. I want to become more proficient at hearing the Spirit and learning that. So, anyway, I think I haven't learned anything crazy, honestly, from going to the temple, but I will say that I am more sensitive to the Spirit from increasing my temple attendance, which has helped me navigate life easier. And I feel like I have like I have increased faith, and I feel like the things that get me down don't get me as it brushes off my shoulder as opposed to where it would really, really like get me down. So I have just increased strength as well. So
got to share something with you. I think it's amazing that you're going to the temple as often as you are. I was in the same boat where I was like, I want to show the Lord that I'm completely devoted to him. And so for me, the way I did that was by saying, I'm going to be a temple worker. I'm going to work at the temple. I'm going to go every week. And when I did that, all of this happened. Everything for Zion Media, like all of it just started to fall into place. Like I met Shane. I got to have a podcast with him. We shared some ideas. We started recording the Isaiah videos. We were talking about Cloudpilot, and then just kind of started. And then I met Trevor. So I'm just saying that you're on the right path for sure.
Awesome.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, with that, James, dude, thank you so much for taking the time with us. Again, Support James. Go get Picante. Support him. It's a fun game. It'd be a great gift, a unique gift. But if you go to Amazon, Trevor, there's a reason why we don't go to Amazon to buy it, because Trevor went there. Trev, you're on mute. Why not Amazon? Or should we not say?
Yeah, just don't go there.
Watch, everybody's going to go there now.
Straight go to the website. You're going to be sorry if you go. Just go straight to the site. Picante game.
PicanteGame.com.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Guys, any final thoughts as we wrap up here?
I'm excited for ZionCon. It's gonna be fun. We'll talk a lot more about it in the future, but just seeing some of the guys that you've done collabs with and different stuff. There's gonna be great music. This is gonna be different than any Book of Mormon conference you've ever been to. This is gonna be fun. Not saying that those aren't fun, but it's gonna be a little different vibe, and I know people are gonna really enjoy it. We're gonna bring a good show.
Might see some different generations there too.
Yeah,
maybe
it's awesome. And listen, if you have a granddaughter that's single and you watch our program, I don't know, let James know he's single, ready to mingle, and let's see if we can make a miracle happen for him. Okay, James, thank you so much for coming on. Thanks for sharing your heart with us. Call me as soon as we get off this. I got something for you. I just appreciate it. Okay, guys, for myself, I'm Shane Baldwin. For David the Lion Douglas and Trevor the Key Keys, and our amazing guest, James Curran, James the Mormon, JTM. We'll see you all next time. Oh, go.
I got something. We need to start announcing our next 100 days, our contest that we're doing.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so we are rolling out something fun to get our community involved, and we are going to be giving away $1,000 American, clarify, $1,000 cash to the Zion Media fan subscriber that recommends the best guest. Like a future Lance, a future Alex Boyer. We're looking for somebody that is, faith-based, or they could be a sports figure, politics, culture, anyone that you guys think, I want that person on Zion Media. Or if you're watching this yourself and you're being like, I want to be on Zion Media, you could win yourself $1,000. What we're going to do is, over the next 100 days, we are going to open up our link tree, and there's going to be a Google form if you go in there, and it's going to be a place where you can click on it. You can go in there and fill out your information. You can fill out information on who the guest is, why you think they would be a great guest for Zion Media, and then we want you to either take out your phone and record yourself and give us a little explanation of why this person would be perfect for Zion Media as a guest, or do an audio. That we don't need a video, but we just want to hear it more. It's a lot easier to perceive what your intention is versus just clickety-clicking on that. So how it's going to work is we're going to filter those in. We're going to go through them, scrub them, the ones that we like. We're going to reach out, contact, do a little pre-interview, see if they're podcast worthy, and then we're going to platform them. We're going to put them on the show. And as we put these on, once we get 2 or 3 people on, we're going to open our socials up for voting, where you as the fans are going to help us determine who is the best guest. Over the course of the 100 days, whoever is voted in as the best guest, it's kind of a 50-50 criteria. We believe it, and then the votes will determine who the winner is for the $1,000. And 100 days from now, before December 21st, we're going to get that $1,000 out. Someone will have some Christmas spending cash or some personal cash. So
Trevor, quick question. If I recommend, you guys should have Sylvester Stallone on your program, they need to introduce us to Sylvester Stallone.
You gotta be able to
recommend somebody, and then it's like, not only do you recommend either yourself or somebody else, you got to bring them to the table.
Yep, you got to be the crew nectar in chief.
If they know Tucker Carlson or someone big or like Elon Musk, they'd have to give us their number. Right.
Well, not only just give us their number, we don't want to call and be like, hey, David gave me a number. They need to make the connection. They need to help platform them.
Put us on a text thread. Put us on an email thread. You've got to be the connector in order to qualify.
Exactly.